Here we go.
There we go.
Episode number 2 of 2022, baby.
2022.
2022. We're going to have February, so 2/22 of 22 this year. And you know what my favorite number is? 22.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty sure that is now going to be Brad Fall Day
It's
for
gonna be
once
Fair all
in my
day.
whole life, at least until 2/22 of 30/22. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We're all with
We're living in the 20s, baby. Soon enough, they're going to be talking about, yeah, I remember back in the roaring 20s,
You're
2020s.
funny.
Man, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. It's interesting. Well, not interesting, but I was on Time Hop this morning and noticed a year from today is when we got our logo complete.
Oh, shoot, you're right. You're right. You know what? I saw that the other day too, because I actually had another one made. I did like a signature made that I could start branding for my real estate stuff. So I was on Fiverr and shout out to Fiverr. Dude, I did a lot with Fiverr last year. A
Yeah.
lot. Um, even like what was it called? Oh, come on. I forget now. There's a name for it. It was it'll come to me later. But anyway, it was basically like a lead gen opportunity that I paid them X amount. They generate a list for you of uh, you know, different homes that are either underwater or have equity in it and might want to be selling. It didn't work. I didn't get any leads from it, but I tried it. Oh, it's worth the shot. Oh, what you got going this week, Ben?
Uh, just work, man. Just work. Like I was telling you before we hopped on, man, just have a lot of different things coming up and just a lot of opportunities that we're trying to push right now. So, I know I told you, leading our leadership development and follow up and growth component of our franchise, as well as our newsletter, which is super interesting, man. Because I've been talking to a lot of my managers lately, and they're just like, "Oh, well, I want to see this," and then it's like you talk to an employee, and they're like, "Yeah, I need that boy to be short."
Mm-hmm.
Short is sweet, and so it's like trying to find a balance of both, and trying to figure out should we do a Monday morning memo as well, and then have a newsletter, like what should we do, but just trying to keep that communication alive. Um, and honestly, besides that, man, just trying to continue to make sure I spend as much time with Emery and Cam as I can. With being busy and
Yeah.
picking up a little bit with work. So, just trying to do my best with that. But other than that, man, things going pretty well. Pretty
Good,
well.
man. Good, good, good. Hey, if you can, tell me and everybody listening a little bit about like the leadership development stuff that you're doing for the franchise. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, right now it's definitely in the smaller infant stages. So we did the intro to leadership, something very similar that we also did at Impact as well, which is kind of a spinoff of Five Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. But just really kind of introducing people to what leadership actually is. And I know that's always cool and unique to me. Like you get some people that sit in the crowd like, okay, and it's just like, man, it's so interesting. One of my managers, he asked in his weekly update that he sends out, he asked everybody what's their favorite book so far on the team development program, right? And everybody's mentioning different books, which is great. Well, I told him, of course, Five Levels is like my go-to. One, I think I just have a soft spot for that book because that was the first leadership books I was ever given.
Yeah.
Two, everything that I ever try to implement or try to do out of any other book always goes back to this, right? So like if I'm trying to implement um, a new process or plan at work, right? If I don't have a foundational relationship with this person, it's not always going to go well, right?
Mhm.
And not even saying if I did that it'll always go well, but I have a better chance of it going well, which is level two, right? Relationships. And then, trying to promote change or anything like that. If I have somebody that's not already producing or knows how to produce in high level moments or changing moments, right? Which is level three, talking about reproduction.
Yeah.
Talking about production. how do I actually, move things forward? So for me, like everything just goes back to that. But uh, some of the things that I really want to work on this year is one, I want to do a course around teamwork. So the goal this year though is how do I make the trainings more engaging? Just as now, I want to get people up and out of their seats. A lot of people have been asking for real life scenarios.
Hmm.
So one that I'm really excited about, if I can get this approved, is a decision making course where pretty much like we're gonna talk about the importance of decision making, but then I would love to have built out scenarios where it's just like you ever played the game Life?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's like are you going to college or are you starting your career, right?
Hmm.
And so all these different things because what we don't realize is there is no perfect decision.
Right.
But you do need to make one. And we talked about this on one of our episodes before, the importance of decision and how it sets leaders apart. Um, but we have to learn how to be patient with some decisions and how to move quicker on other decisions. So what does that look like, right? And what do you learn from it, things like that. So that's what I'm really excited about as well. That kind of looking for. So overall, man, I think the biggest opportunity that we have this year is it's not about the amount of different trainings that we have, but what does the follow up look like after that? Because me, I can talk about leadership coach trainings all day like that. That's my
Mhm.
thing, right? And so I'm really hoping with this team that we can really focus on what does follow up look like after that. How can we make sure that people are actually implementing the things that we're teaching them, and not just like reading a book. Sometimes you can read a book, and, oh man, that was a great book, and then you don't implement anything from that book, right? And so
True.
it's just like, okay, good read, yes, but you haven't been changed, you haven't been moved, you haven't done anything differently. So does the book really hold as much value as you think it holds? So, so yeah, man. So that's kind of what it's looking like this year, man. So, like I said, it's definitely in infant stages right now. We're looking to have our first meeting hopefully this week or next, and kind of flow out from there.
Awesome, man. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I think
man.
it's gonna be cool too when you're reflecting on it this time next year,
Yeah,
and just
for sure.
thinking how far it's came. I think it's inspiring that too, man, because you think, out of these groups of people that are being influenced by it, like there's a select few that it's gonna change their life forever.
Yep.
I mean, like they're gonna really hold on to and grab onto some of the teachings from these books. It's gonna totally change the way that they do life and the way that they do business. It's so exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the one thing, man, that I gotta keep in mind. And just a little piece of advice and motivation for everybody out there that likes to post inspirational things or post leadership or talk about leadership. Like we forget so often about the one, right? And I love that because Jesus teaches us that a lot in the Bible. Like it's not always about like, hey, how many people can I get? It's sometimes it's just the one,
Hmm.
right? Um, who's the that one person that might be watching your video, that one person that might actually like your video, whatever, you might have completely changed their life,
Right.
right? And so think about that, think about that. And I get that we're in the likes and the shares and everything. Subscribe, which by the way, like, subscribe, share. It's like plug. But at the same time, man, like even if we change one person's life or how they think about life on this podcast, man, that's all been worth it.
I
So
agree. I agree. Man, and it's such a like opportunity, honor to be in a position like what you're
yeah,
in with a company to be able to have influence over somebody's actual way of thinking. You know
yep,
what I mean? Like I always think of the movie Inception. Have you seen that?
yeah,
Yeah, so like plant an idea in their head, right, when they're dreaming, but the idea then
a
it
little
takes
less
on
creepy,
changes.
a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
less
but
creepy
like
than that.
let's not do that. But it's like conscious inception, right? It's like you're planting ideas that are then stemming and literally changing their lives. It's so cool. That's awesome, man. Good
So,
deal.
what about you, man? What's been going on with you?
Dude, I'm so freaking motivated. I'm so freaking
Yeah,
hyped right now, dude. Yes. Like I have not been this like just freaking just want to get it. Uh I don't know, man. I feel like I finally am out of that like holiday slump that we go through. It took me a little bit, but we are here now, and this week has been rocking, man.
So
uh been consistent with my workouts, been consistent with work, been just really, I feel like one of my highlights for this year too, that actually I just sat down with my dad to go over like yearly planning stuff and goals and stuff for this year. And one of my opportunities that I said I really wanted to work on was my systems, and really be able to put some systems in place that, although I may not always be able to follow through on them to a T, because this industry, you don't know what your day is going to look like always,
yeah,
but having the system in place that you can always fall back on,
yep,
and I never looked at it like that, because when I first started, systems were huge for me, because I was like, I need a good foundation, get this started, and bro, like I could not stay on anything, and then I would like beat myself up because I'm like, no, like this was supposed to be my day of success. This was supposed to look like, and it's not. I failed today, and I would like defeat myself in my head, but I was looking at it in a way of like, I needed my day to look like this every time, and that's just not true. But being able to have something in place where it's like, oh, you know what? I'm not super busy today. So what do I do? And instead of that being such a question every day, being able to go back to, well, what's my system tell me? What can I be doing right now if I have the opportunity to be doing it? So uh that's been something big. But other than that though, man, like I've between real estate and investing, like I have just been so motivated. I'm doing another marketing video today. Should I
yeah.
tell you? Should I tell you right now? Because it's gonna be
Okay.
live tomorrow. Okay, cool. So I'm so this will be the conference room. I'm gonna be sitting there. Let's say, oh hey there, it's your friendly local realtor here. Just checking in, seeing, we're halfway through January, seeing how those New Year's resolutions are doing. This is off the dome. It'll be better.
Yeah, yeah. I got
Seeing how those New Year's resolutions are doing. Uh, and then I'm going to take out a brownie and take a bite of a brownie, just like ridiculously, and be like, "Oh, one of mine was to lose weight." And then have it like cut, and then I'll go to see me like walking and be like, "But I know some of you, had to buy or sell real estate on those, New Year's resolutions. So
yeah,
what are you waiting for? I'm right here. Give me a call." And then, as it cuts from that scene, it's gonna go to me like sitting on the beanbag here in the office, which is like brownies all over me, just like taking another bite. I was like, okay, that'll be cool. That'll work. We'll do it.
you always like messing up your clothes, huh?
Bro, I don't care. It's fine. Whatever I gotta do.
You had the snow last time.
Man,
Now we talking about brownies.
I want to try and do something like at least every couple weeks, man. And I got the time right now, so I might as well.
Yeah, which is super cool though, man. Because I mean, the thing is, you don't see a lot of realtors doing that, right? Because
Right.
even if it is corny, right, it gets people's attention,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And
And I
that's
don't
all
care.
you're looking for. Yeah,
Right. I don't care. Shoot. That video of me falling reached over almost 2,500 people. I
really.
was like, yeah, I was like, all right, whatever, cool, man.
Yeah,
And it's crazy too, because I noticed as I'm posting stuff like that, I'm trying to be more consistent on my stories and stuff too. Um, Sidebar, I had a sit down Zoom meeting call with one of the top producing agents over in Texas, and they actually have a podcast too. I think I've maybe mentioned them on here, Crumb and
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I had an opportunity to get on a Zoom call with him, and a couple questions. And one of the things that his voice was, I'm inconsistent with social media, and one thing that he challenged on was just document your day. He's like, you might think what you're doing is boring, but to some people on the other side that's consuming the content, they want to see it, and uh, just do it, and then as you get in the habit, you don't have to go search for content. You just document what you're already doing. And, as you're doing different things, then the content increases. And so I've been trying to do more of that. But anyway, so, as I'm more active on social media and things like that, the more engagement I get, it's crazy. Like messages, friend requests, notifications. It's just, I don't know if it's, and I know it's part of the algorithm that the more active you are, the more your stuff is put in front of people. So it kind of snowballs in that way. So, why not? Let's do it,
which is, I mean, like I said, it's super cool though, because you think about it, and we've talked about this before. You know, you mentioned this with real estate, is it is genuinely about those relationships,
Right. Yeah.
right? People see that they can have fun with their realtor, and they can see that, man, my man's worked hard, and it's going to be a good time.
Hmm.
Because that's what you got to think about. I'm assuming, right? You got to think about the whole experience of buying or selling a house,
Yep.
right? And outside looking in, it looks boring, right?
Hmm.
It only looks fun if you're on HGTV, which
Yeah.
half of that is scripted anyway. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Somebody's a doctor, and the other person is a crayon maker, but somehow they make $2 million a year.
Oh yeah, I'd like to keep my budget under about 3.2 million,
Yeah,
and I'm a
so
stay-at-home mom, so like, oh my
exactly.
gosh, like how?
Uh,
No, it's true, man, and it ain't the reality either.
yeah,
Some of the markets, yeah, that's probably true. Like, I follow a couple of realtors that are like in Tampa or something, and it's these luxury markets, and they're like a day in the life of, and they're showing a 1.3 million, or what was it the other day? I saw a $3.1 million listing, and it's just like, and they showed multiple that day, three houses all over multiple $1 million. And it's just like, man, like that's crazy. That is HGTV quality. But for the average market, and like for
and getting that Cadillac. Yeah,
yeah, bro, it's like no, that ain't it. That ain't it. Like, I think
you get a
the
couple houses for that Cadillac.
yeah, man, like that one house is almost what I do in a year. It's crazy. But uh you think here, like Wexford County, for example, last time I checked, I think the average house sale was like 155,000.
Yeah,
So that's it. That's average, and that's not bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not crazy, but it's not bad. Um, it kind of puts things in perspective, though. And then you go
yeah,
up to like Leelanau Peninsula up in Traverse, and it's, I don't even know what, but you get multiple $1 million listings up there plus. So it's crazy. But yeah, man, no, other than that though, things are good. Things are good. Very excited, and I know we wanted to talk a little bit about change today. And one of the things that kind of motivated me, that put that on my mind, was I've been watching a lot of Gary Vee lately.
I
And
see you posted that.
bro, yeah, in that one I put on my story, I
Yeah,
listened to that probably 3 or 4 times all the way through. And it was a recent conference that he spoke at, but it was for a group of realtors down in San Francisco area. And one thing that I love about Gary is his authenticity. Like, I get some people don't like his delivery, whatever, I don't care, like it doesn't bother me. But I'm looking more at like how straightforward and to the point he is.
yeah,
And it's like he's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. And there's a couple times he's talking to this massive room full of realtors, and he's saying like, really, how do you put it? Like, nobody clapped after he said it. We'll say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
yeah,
like, when whatever, never, the way he presents, and they're taking money from you, you ain't gonna want to, you ain't gonna whatever.
yeah,
And it's just like, it's true though, and thinking about how this industry is changing. And I think this is the point he brought up, but I think you have a lot of people that hear about it and they shrug it off and they say, oh, well, maybe, but that couldn't be me. No, well, Gary, I've been dominating this market for the last 15 years. You don't understand. He's like, no, you don't understand. He's like, there's been businesses and companies that are way bigger than you, sweetheart, that have failed due to ego and due to, not adapting. He's like, and it doesn't make you anything different or anything special. The same thing can happen to you if you're not willing to recognize and adapt. So, like, a couple of things I've been posting on my story lately too is, it goes hand in hand with my investing I've been doing in like blockchain, crypto, NFT, stuff like that. It's because I genuinely believe that is going to be some of the change that we see in these industries that become like a day to day. One of the benefits of blockchain and crypto is it's all decentralized, DeFi. um when you think about the process of like a real estate transaction, and there's so many people involved, right, in a single transaction. And one of the examples that I've heard and I've seen is it has to do with the title companies. So title companies are on a type. What's that?
we got a company.
Yeah, title companies. So
Title.
title,
Okay.
yep. So title companies, they run, a search on your home, make sure it has clear and free title upon the transfer of ownership. You don't want to buy a house and then 10 years down the road, somebody knock on your door and say, hey, my Uncle Jim had me as, I would receive this home after he passed away. He was passed away. Basically having title insurance and stuff keeps that from happening because they make sure it's transferring free and clear. But anyway, so all of that is done from individual companies, but they have to go and search for the information, find all of the previous records and things like that. When you introduce something like blockchain technology where it's a public ledger, who's to say that in the future a real estate transaction wouldn't be documented on blockchain? So for you to see that you own it, anybody can go to the public ledger and see your wallet or see your whatever
Yeah.
as you own this asset, right? And that asset be tied to your physical home. And that, would basically just change title companies entirely because it's all public, it's right there, and I don't know much about the business. So what I could be saying right now, it makes no sense to somebody that actually understands the technology. But from what I've learned and gathered
I'm
and
gonna say, don't worry, it makes no sense to somebody that don't understand technology either.
okay, yeah, man. So and I just feel but that's the point though, right? That's the point. I think it's intimidating. It is, and I think that's why a lot of people don't get into it initially until it starts to become more mainstream. And as people trickle in and as majority starts to be involved, then people are like, okay, maybe there is some legitimacy to this, to all these things. But it's just like the people, I saw this example the other day, just like the people that were like, oh, I'll never buy things online when online shopping first started to become a thing. And now they're the ones with Amazon Prime. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I still try to avoid buying stuff offline. I was in Staples yesterday trying to buy some like folders and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I looked at, I had one of my shift leads with me. I told myself, well, guess I'm gonna go on Amazon and find something because I'm pretty sure they'll have, exactly what I'm looking for. It's, I don't know. See that's a change,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I have a hard time with, and it's because I love people,
Yeah.
right? And me and Cam talk about this all the time. Like she will online order everything, right? Like we were talking about, we ordered pizza last night, right? I tried vegan pizza from like Buddies. It was all right. I don't really like diet cheese like that. They have like Miyoko's vegan cheese is really good, but
Yeah.
anyways, so I told her, I was like, oh, I think I want to try it. Right. And I said, I already knew the answer, but I was like, are you calling or are you, place this order online? She's like, well, I'm placed online. So you can call and ask them, what their thoughts are on it. And so, but it's just always interesting. Like, that's her first thought process is
Yeah.
not that she doesn't like people or she doesn't want to deal with people, but for her, it's easier to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because it's one less step. For
Right.
me, even the opposite. I'm like, to me, that's an extra step when I can just call somebody, tell you what I want. I ain't got to do no extra typing, no nothing. I'm like, hey, bro, like, I need to place an order. This is what I need. Boom. All right, cool. I see you in just a moment. Right. Like, I'm even having a whole time with this DoorDash and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's super convenient. Like, bro, like the people interaction. So I don't want nobody showing up to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show up to your place. I don't show up to my crib. Oh, but yeah, man, that's one change for sure. And I think that's where I like with Bitcoin and crypto and stuff, whatever, where I kind of get lost just because um, even though it involves people, it's not a lot of face to face. Like I still like going to the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I know I'll probably get from my grandparents. Like they don't do anything online, banking online, right?
Yeah.
They always go to the bank, drop off deposits, things like that. And even talking to some of my stores right now, like they prefer doing night traps and stuff. And I'm just like, bro, like go in there, get to know your realtor. I mean, get to know your
Yeah. Get to know your realtor. Come on.
yeah, get to know your
Yeah.
realtor.
Yeah.
Brad Fall. What are they called?
Like your teller.
Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Get to know your tellers and what I'm saying, the people that own the bank and stuff, whatever, like get to know them, like because when situations come up, right? Because in my opinion, these are the worst people. Something happens to your stuff online, you have no relationship with these people, and then you want to cuss them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus somebody like me, I'm in there all the time. So I'm just like, hey man, like, was here last week and such whatever. Oh yeah, Aaron, I remember, blah blah whatever. And I feel like they're just more willing to help because there's a connection, relationship built.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think I'm scared about this whole change of things being more online. That sun is really in your eye, huh?
Oh, dude, it's bad. I know. I keep moving.
I think that's my biggest thing with changes. I think we lose relationships.
Yes. I think it's a good point. Yeah, I think it's a really good point because the aspect of convenience, is there, of course, but as you're saying that too, because I'm very like in the middle because I do both. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking too, I'm like, when I'm sitting here,
You order stuff when they don't have online ordering.
yeah, exactly. If they don't have an online option, then I have to call. So I'm like, I do both, No, so like if I'm sitting here and I want a coffee, it's not like I pay, whatever the local delivery service is here to go bring me coffee. No, like I'm gonna go and I have conversation with the barista or like in fact one of the local coffee shops down the way here. I've gotten a chance to really know the assistant manager and stuff. I'm able to keep my business cards in there. We have a great relationship. They know me by name, and when I go, I don't just go to get coffee. I go and I conversate and I talk to them. And, it's opened up doors for me to actually work with them now. I've showed them houses and, so like different things like that. Like there's an aspect of the relationships that, and it's not like I go in there with the intent to, this is a hard concept for me, and I think I'm hung up on it because it's something Gary said in his video the other day too. It's not like I'm doing nice things or having good conversation with the intent to get something out of it. But for me, relationships are important. So it's not a method of like manipulation, like, oh, I'm going to be nice to you because I want you to work with me.
Yeah.
But genuinely, it's like, no, these relationships are important. And I would hope that if anything did come up, because of the relationship we have, that if your first thought was real estate, you would associate that with me. So I think it's a byproduct of it, but I don't think you go in there with that intent. You know what I mean?
I mean, and I think even if you do, because I think about just in business in general, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna go do some marketing today, in one of my cities. When I go do marketing, the initial hope is yes to get business.
Yeah.
That is the initial hope, but I think it's the way that you build it, right? Because at the end of the day, I do still care about people,
Mhm.
right? So I care about you as a person, and I forget not Andy Frisella. Who's the guy that does stuff for Andy Frisella? I just saw him at Live to Lead. That's gonna drive me crazy. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Ed Milet. There we go.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
know. Yeah.
I
Good
don't know how
stuff.
I
For
forgot his name.
sure.
Great podcast, by the way, for him as well.
Yeah.
He actually was talking about business, and he was saying, I mentioned this to Cam last night. He said something to the extent of sometimes why people have a hard time marketing themselves is because one, they probably don't believe in the product that much, for sure. But then two, he said, when marketing yourself, he said, just think about it this way: you will feel bad if people didn't use what you had. Right, you feel horrible like that you didn't give them the opportunity.
Mhm.
And so now like marketing, I think that's somewhat how I try to go into it. Like, hey man, like you need this movie in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's $10 to $12. You need this movie in your life, right? And I would feel bad if you've never tried this. I feel bad if I didn't give her an opportunity to experience what we have here.
Yeah.
But then that goes back to just knowing that you genuinely care about the person, but then also caring about what
Mhm.
you so man, I think it's a miss because if I'm truthful, I think all of our relationships start off with some type of intent.
Yeah. True.
And they're because of some reason. Um, it just depends on the environment and what you actually want to get out of that. But I think it's all built around something at first, and then it evolves and grows from that.
True. And I think too, man, like as we're talking about it, I think maybe we're we're associating two different things with each other when they shouldn't be.
Mm.
For in the way of like, it depends on what your intention is with that trip. You know, if like what you said, I have to work on marketing at one of my stores today. You're going out there with the intent of marketing. You're going out there with the intent of gaining customers and clients. So the relationships that you're building are business relationships. So you're not going in there with the intention of being excuse me, what's the word? Um, you're not trying to make a best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going in there with an intent and with a purpose. And I think, and when I was referring to when Gary was mentioning it, and I made the reference about the coffee shop, is like a lot of people will start relationships off of manipulation because they're like, I will be nice to you in the hopes of I get X, Y, and Z from you. And I think when you approach it with like a friendship like that, without the intent of it being business, then that's more manipulation. That's like a whole different aspect, though, keeping it separate from a business transaction. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I think this is neither right or wrong, but I think in my mind, I'm just like, well, if we think about it, it's all manipulation there. Because like, I get to know you because I want or need a friend, right?
Mm.
And so I'm being nice to you because
Because I
I
don't
want.
have any friends
Yeah,
and I
for
need
sure.
friends.
And so to a certain extent, that can be manipulative, right? Because I'm only being nice to you because in hopes that I gain your friendship. Right. So very similar with the marketing part. I'm only being nice to you to hopefully gain your business. And
True.
so,
Bro, we're all just a bunch of manipulators.
well, yeah, I
That's
hate
what it boils down to. Like I tricked you into doing this podcast with me because I wanted to keep you as a friend.
low key, low
And
key. I
now
feel like I picked you first because I don't want
I
that.
picked you first.
Don't try to take my manipulation skills away from me.
Oh shoot, man, that's funny. Oh man, yeah, no, that's good stuff. And one of the points that you made about is it Ed Milet? Ed
Not like,
Marlet?
yeah,
Marlet? Yeah. He's like, a lot of times you won't get sales because you don't believe in the product. And I think it's different when you are the product, right? Because like for example, with your leadership development stuff, like if you're talking to a company owner, a business owner with a potential client of yours that you're going to go speak at, like you're selling yourself, man. Like that looks so much different than a product or like a physical product.
for sure. And I think that's what's hard slash interesting for me right now. Like somebody that I highly respect, he's just in the motivational realm because I do think there's a difference between motivation and equipping, right?
Mm.
And I hope to have a good balance of both. Would be more on the equipping side, but like Eric Thomas. Now I'm
Yeah.
not saying he doesn't practice anything and that everything is just off the dome or anything, but it's just interesting because that is what it is. He sells himself and his team puts together a lot of stuff. Not saying that he's not involved in or anything like that. And I think that's what I struggle with because for me, I'm just like content. Like I gotta create this content, I gotta create these game plans around it. It's just like maybe that's not my sweet spot,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe my sweet spot is in the presenter because conversations like this and talking to my managers the other day, like we can have great conversations and I can just, go off the dome, right? And, like shoot, like throw it out quotes left and right that I ain't never heard of, but like they sound sweet and I'm just how that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like super interesting, though, because to a certain extent, because I think I'm afraid to sell myself, which just sounds horrible saying that. I hate saying it this way because I feel so weird selling myself. I'm trying to create a product to sell and then have me be a company with it
Mm. Mm.
versus learn how to sell myself and have a product that accompanies me,
Come
right?
on. That's good. That's
Yeah, you know
good.
what I mean? So that's an interesting stage I'm in right now because I feel like there's a lot of things I can't get started because I don't have a layout that has fill in the blanks and stuff like because I love that by Maxwell, right? But Maxwell don't do that,
Right.
you
Right.
know. Jason
True.
and all of them in the lab, they be knocking that stuff out, which that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to build a team to surround you the things that either one that you want to focus on too that takes up too much of your focus and you don't do it well, right?
That's
So
true. And I think that's good stuff. I appreciate your, being honest too. Like, because, and I think it's crazy because from the outside looking in, like if you were to ask me, Brad, what do you think my business should look like? Right. I would be like, man, I just think you need to partner with a whoever, be a consultant, but sit down with them, talk to them about, okay, what are your biggest issues right now? And I think you just being you and the knowledge that you already have about leadership and leading and what a successful system and business should look like, just in conversation, and opening up genuine dialogue with that team leaders is the value that you offer. I
yeah,
think your content is fire, and I think because it's nice too, because you can do like more general content that applies to multiple people, and you're adding value in a very special way. But I think, like, especially for consulting, like if you were to sit down and be like, hey, our biggest problems are X, Y, and Z, this is what we'd love for you to touch on while you're here for the 2 days or whatever. I think you would be able to take that and then in a week's time be able to really develop something really special for that. You know what I mean? And that's not the product, that's you.
right, exactly.
So
Yeah,
no, that's good stuff, man. Well, I know we got to wrap it up here soon, but one thing I wanted to put out here is a Discord group. And I had made mention of it to you, I think, over the phone or something last week.
yeah,
But I want to open it up for, listeners can hear this and, let us know what you think. But I really think us taking this to a community level, and what that means is opening up more opportunities for us to communicate and like answer questions, be more interactive. And being in the NFT space, all of these teams have Discord groups, and that's how they build communities to market their projects and what they're doing. And man, I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what Ambitious Minds needs. And, however we want to start this, but I think, man, if you're down, like I want to build one out this week, we can launch it, get some people in there, and just kind of be fluid with it and have it grow into what we think it should be. But we could have specific chat channels in there for investment chat,
yeah,
leadership discussion, motivation, and we can produce content, and link YouTube videos to there, and have dialogue in there with whoever. And then they even have options there. You can like play games. Like we could do like a game night, where like people want to hop on the Discord and we can, be more interactive. And they have AMAs, which is what's it stand for?
American Music Awards.
America's musical, where I actually get up there and I sing karaoke. And no, but it's like it's live chat, right? And you can do video, you cannot do video. But like we could do this, like our live discussions that we've been talking about, and do them on our Discord, and people can hop in. They can raise their hand, we can bring them up to the stage, is how they have it set up with us, and then they can talk too. So we could have like real genuine dialogue. Like I think it would be really special. We can record the MAs, things like that. Like I don't know, like what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I know when we talked about last week. I'm definitely down for sure. I think it kind of reminded me of Clubhouse just a little bit. Like it's like Clubhouse, but just a little more structured and more built out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down 100%. So,
Cool.
I think one thing that we can do if you got one already, if there's like a short, like 4 or 5 minute video, that we could drop in the on the YouTube page for this episode, just so people can kind of understand it. Understand they got to create an account, thing like that.
Right.
I got to create mine today, finish that, but yeah, let's hop on it. Let's do
Cool.
it.
Right on, man. Well, then, for everybody listening, coming soon. I'll try and get that put together, and maybe even today yet, because I'm going to be here for a little while. So but yeah, no, that'll be dope. I think it'll be awesome to have some dialogue with some of our listeners that are tuned in. And yeah, I'm excited. It'll be cool.
Super dope.
Cool.
Y'all, well, thank y'all for joining us today. Like, subscribe wherever it is. Like, subscribe. Man, I love to hear from you all. So really trying to build out this community, this tribe, and continue to take things to the next level. So thank y'all for joining us today. Love y'all, man. Ambitious Minds.
Peace.
Peace.